Welcome to the Muted Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Ginn. Do not let our traumas define us. We were meant for so much more. Let's go together on this healing journey and live the life we were meant to live. You are officially unmuted. Ivana, after going through your own traumatic relationship, you rebuilt your life to help women recreate their lives. Using root cause therapy, you help clients heal from past trauma, shedding old patterns and limiting beliefs. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you today, and welcome to Muted.
Hello, and I'm so excited to be here. I've been following you for a while, and this is one of the interviews I'm really keen to have and just chat to you and share with your audience. Such a privilege to be here. Thank you.
That's great. We're excited to have you. So please take us back to the moment in your life when everything shifted. What life was like before your breakup, what led up to your own healing journey.
There you go, straight into the deep end. And I'm happy to share the moment where it was really hard for me. I was actually thinking something in my life doesn't work. So it was a fog I was feeling. I was just disoriented in my own body, my feelings, and I was trying to manifest the desired reality, and it just wasn't happening. I was going through, meditations, affirmations, and podcasts, and was reaching out for some help of what am I doing wrong. And I was asking for help and for more clarity. And that was the day where everything shifted for me. So actually it wasn't a day, it was a process, but the moment everything shifted is where I was able to open the eyes and see the reality, which I was not strong before to see. And that was being caught up in a toxic relationship where the dynamics were very difficult to confront. Felt like I have to walk on eggshells. I felt like we can't have a conversation where I can't express myself fully. It was always about me making myself small, compromising, reaching up, over extending to help to resolve conflict. And sometimes I was even avoiding the conflict. So I had to change it. And I started bit by bit changing myself to be able to be more assertive, to be able to hold boundaries. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't last this test, and my new empowered me as without the shrinking, without the fear of conflict, without holding the boundaries, and without speaking my own truth. So that was the beginning of healing, the journey. And the hard part was where I actually became homeless because I had to, escape the domestic violence and reach safety with my children.
Wow.
And that was the moment where I actually realized I'm not alone. It's not, me. It's not by accident, but hearing other women's story, I started to heal my own story. And I hear how they got in the situation and realize it feels like we have something in common. And if the journey to this point is very similar for many women, there must be a similar way out. And I started to, notice the patterns and have realization that I am also here to help others to learn the way out, so I can also help others, because there is a pattern. There are similarities. As much as we are unique and have unique experience and have unique stories, there's also something we can learn from each other. So that was the moment where I got deep, but got out of there too.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we really appreciate you telling your story. And although difficult, especially leaving domestic violence, that's awful, especially with children. We really appreciate you telling your story, and in turn, by sharing that, other women don't feel alone, just like you felt at one point and realized you weren't. And that's so beautiful that you've turned this now into something to help other women.
Yeah.
So what did the process of grieving the relationship look like in the future you imagined? Because I think with marriage failing, that's what you feel like is a failure, and you're grieving what should have been, what could have been, what you thought your life was going to look like. And again, when there's children involved, even more so, there's a grief process that goes on.
Yeah, it is, because the future you envision is not there. The us you envision is not there, and it just falls down, and it's a very painful process because you have to shift from what you thought is the future, what you thought is you, what you thought is us, and
Mm-hmm.
that disappears. So there's definitely a period where you have to adjust that reality. And sometimes we project in the future, you know, the sadness, the loneliness, and think that nothing ever good will happen to us because
Right.
this one dark moment. But there's no skipping it. Like, you can't kind of brainwash yourself into thinking like, oh, everything's fine, everything's like perfect now in my life, and I can't wait to go to the next one. So I actually I had two failed relationships. So in 2017, I was married to my first husband, or first serious relationship, and that lasted, well, that marriage about 3 years, and we have one child. And then I kind of repeated myself. So I was even reflecting, did I grieve enough? Like, did I jump too soon in the next relationship? Did I give myself the permission to heal, to cry, to feel all the feelings, rather than you know, skipping that part? So a little bit to truth of what you're saying, that there is a little bit of the pain to and grieving to process all the feelings before you're ready to move on in life, and giving yourself the space. And it does take time. It's not a 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
And how I did it, I allow myself to feel that. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people make the same mistake. I think that's why sometimes there could be a couple failed relationships or marriages, because you don't allow yourself to grieve. You don't allow yourself to heal, and you quickly move on, and you maybe find the exact type of relationship. And so you haven't really truly healed. So, how for yourself did you give yourself permission to feel the pain without shame, especially after the second time?
Yes, exactly. And like, I was always looking for the mistakes in myself. I'm this, overthinker who is reflecting a lot, like, what can I have done more? What can I do like better? And why am I failing? So there was a lot of that, like, going deep inside what's wrong with me. And that itself is a stress response, overthinking, over analyzing, over blaming yourself for the end.
Right.
So I reach out for help and realize that some of those might not be my shame. Some of those feelings might be not my pain, because me as an empathetic person, and I would like to share with, maybe that resonates with your audience as well, sometimes those feelings are not yours, because empathetic people sometimes get on board other people's feelings. So me feeling unlovable might not be my feeling. Me feeling this is my only chance in life to be happy, to be loved, and to be connected to someone, that might not be my own feeling. So I started to peel the layers of, the shame, the pain, with assistance, because at first I was scared to feel all of those big feelings. And I would also like to think, I'm not sure if the shame and the pain are the same thing, the same process. So the antidote for the shame is sharing. So it's to speaking your friends, speaking someone you trust, speaking to counselor, speaking in a safe environment, such as healing groups or women groups. And healing pain might be alone, might be, the sitting with the uncomfortable, crying, feeling sorry for your past self, or feeling sad that you didn't know what you didn't know, or that there is no future you envision. So that part could take, could be processed alone or with someone, but the shame definitely has to be processed with someone, be witnessed. So the antidote for shame is the sharing, and not to be alone with it, because as soon as you shine the light on the shame, it just goes away.
You're so right. And I think that's so validating to women, and to especially hear that you felt all these things. It was shame, and maybe it wasn't even your fault, but for you to feel these feelings. And it is like a grieving process. I think that's why they liken it to death, because you have to go through this process of feelings, and sharing it is hard because you might be embarrassed, or you don't you just don't know how to share it with somebody. You don't want to bring them down, or you don't want to acknowledge maybe things within yourself, and it's so hard to do.
Yeah, and especially if it's heavy. I felt, for example, the obstacle of sharing with my friends. Like, my friends did not comprehend how difficult the situation was for me, because probably their relationship wasn't as challenging. So I felt like I can't even say the whole truth. I was always like sugarcoating like how deep I was, how difficult it was for me. So I was trying to, to stay positive, to kind of not to hurt someone, to opening too much or triggering them too much. So for me, sharing was in a safe place of people who experience something similar, or at least have some trauma informed background, so they know how to hold the space, even if I share something which is, uncomfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what helped me a lot. So it wasn't actually sharing within the friends groups, it was the domestic violence support groups and people who are trained to hold space for people who've been through trauma.
That's a good point too. If you're not getting that validation from your family members or your close friends, or that understanding, to go and find a group, or other things you mentioned, a counselor, a therapist, or a podcast, or something where you can resonate with another woman going through the exact same circumstance. And no circumstance is exactly the same, but at least there's a lot more understanding there, or maybe can give you the direction that you need to go, especially in a domestic abuse situation with children, even to have tangible resources. We
Yeah.
often lose ourselves in unhealthy relationships. How did you begin to reconnect with your intuition and sense of self after the breakup?
My journey was through healing the body. And by the body, I mean the nervous system and the ability to describe what is happening in my body. Because some of those intense moments were so difficult to process emotionally that I disconnected and numbed myself. And that was the point where I feel like I lost myself, because the compass wasn't working. I didn't know what is yes in my body, how the no feels in my body. And I was just overlaying or disconnecting from feeling, from knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So the way back was bit by bit, bringing back the sensitivity to be able to recognize, how does anger feel in my body? How does sadness feel in my body? And when I feel it, can I cope? Can I handle it? And can I go a little bit deeper? So I was exposing myself in microdoses to, anger, to sadness,
Mm-hmm.
and learning again, it's okay. Like, I won't die. It feels terrifying. It feels like I'm dying in that moment, but it's just a sensation in the body. So that was my journey to reconnect with the intuition, and it started coming again. Another advice I have for audience to reconnect with the intuition: go back to where you have the confirmation it was right. I don't know, it could be as little as like, oh, I shouldn't have parked here. And then it's like, did you have that feeling? Where it came from? How did it feel? What was the quality? Was it audio? Was it feeling? Was it sound? Was it quiet? Was it loud? Was it sudden? What was the quality of that information? Did you have that before? And then you kind of start recognizing, like, oh, if it's ego, it kind of argues back. When it's intuition, it just drops for me. It could be different for everyone else. It just drops and there's no arguing. If I start asking questions, it just goes quiet because it doesn't want to be interviewed. So my quality of my intuition, like, I kind of described it. And then when it happens again, I know, oh, this is not an ego. This is intuition, because I know the quality of it, the how it comes to me and how I can work with it.
That's great. I love that. So it's choosing yourself in these small ways and going back. And it's not this one big, you wake up and have this big
Yeah.
spiritual awakening. It's
Sometimes
going
it's
back
very practical. Yeah. Yeah.
practical. Yeah, they're
Mm-hmm.
just small things every day you can do to reconnect with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're now helping other women who are also healing from toxic relationships. What are some subtle signs someone might be in one and not even realize it?
I think once you're in it, it's very, very hard to wake up from it.
Mm.
And when I was in it, I was also, following the wrong advice, because there is a lot of advice for people who are on that side and people who are on that side. So I was following the advice of like, lean in, don't give up, like pour more love in, like, the hard, relationships are hard. Don't give up when, there's a sign of discomfort. So I was listening to that side of advice. So it's really hard because once you're in it, it's difficult to see through it. So how I like to educate people is through, noticing how they feel, the red flags, and connecting with the body who knows the truth and who have the wisdom. So, for example, it's not how you feel about the person, but how does that person make you feel? Because once you're in it, you kind of worry about, what the person say, how they act, what are their triggers, and you kind of just go through these articles like 5 signs of this, 5 signs of that. But we forgot that we have this experience, this body. So the returning back is about me. And
Mhm.
one sign of being in an abusive relationship, I think, is clicking on all those links. 5 signs of he's a narcissist, or, like it just attracts you and you read all of these topics, but then
Mhm.
kind of do nothing with it. So it starts by pay attention for what your body is trying to tell you.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
is
and
hard.
you mentioned red flags there. What were signs in maybe your situation or working with women that are common
Hmm.
missed red flags?
You can resolve conflict.
Mm.
Um, So you can't bring things up. It feels like there's never a good time, or you've been shut down, change a topic, or say like, oh, no, that's not happening. You remember it wrong. Then there are like other, uh,
Gaslighting.
yeah, exactly, techniques how to, shift the energy or shift the blame onto you. Like, I think, you're the problem, not me. So there's levels of, but the underlying issue is if you feel like you want to address something which is bothering you and you can't, or you start thinking like, oh, maybe tomorrow, maybe I don't mind that much, maybe we can live with it, and kind of going around those issues rather than addressing them, that might be one sign. But it could be also a sign that you're just avoiding the conflict and it is a healthy person, and once you would bring the conflict, then it would be resolved. So step by step, try with the smaller things, see if the other person cooperates with little challenges, little day-to-day conflicts, and if there is a resolution or if there is not. And if there's no resolution, then you're not in a relationship with someone who can work with you. It's always you who has to change for the other person. So
Mhm.
that's, I think, very core of the um, the problem. Yeah. And then there are levels to, how you can address it. Can you go to counseling? Is that person, not even open to any work with you? And then it's also start being damaging to your health, because it goes deeper and you're denying your own truth. You're
Mhm.
denying yourself live comfortably. You're denying yourself resolve things that bothers you. Then your health, your confidence, and your intuition, your reality just deteriorates over time, because you're
Mhm.
always escaping, you're always shrinking, you're always making yourself smaller
Yeah. And I think you tell yourself it's not that bad, and or maybe it's just the truth is too painful to face sometimes.
until your world is so small, because everything is a problem. You having friends is a problem, you going to work is a problem, you having your own money is a problem, you
Right.
looking after children this way is a problem, and then everything is a problem
Mhm.
until you can't live in that small world anymore.
So, what are some of the most common challenges women face after leaving these sort of toxic situations?
Mhm.
How do you help them navigate these first steps towards healing?
Yeah, I think we touched on many of them. So it could be the intuition, because you overwritten or someone overwritten your reality so much that you confused what you feel is right, what your memories were are right. The memories can fade as well. Like you can lose memory because it's so painful to get there. So it's the way the mind is starting to protect us. So that's very often. That could be the hypervigilance. People are scared. They're scared to have relationships. They're scared to speak to other people. They're scared to be heard. They're scared to be in public because they fear. So those are very, very common things. There's also the loss of confidence, or the thinking I can make it by myself. Because again, we've been conditioned to think that this relationship is the only relationship and you can survive on your own. Often the other person makes us feel so small and so incapable of living
Mhm.
and being alone that we start believing that lie. So that's another common one, the loss of confidence and the self-worth as well. So
Yeah.
mhm.
You speak about the nervous system regulation and emotional awareness.
Mhm.
Why are those so important for trauma recovery?
Yeah. So the trauma remembers, and the body remembers the trauma. So if we heal the body, it has less power over us, in a sense of stress is an automatic response. And if we go into the stress mode, such as fawn, freeze, fight or flight, and I would like to mention the fawn and freeze is really hard to identify, while the running away, the flight, or the anger, the fight is like out there. It's visual. We kind of feel the energized body and we scream or see someone like move, while the freeze is so hard to spot, especially in yourself, because all in sudden, like, you're just observing the world, and it's really hard to put the finger on it because you don't have the body and it's not visual for other person. So for me, it was the freeze and fawn response, where I was reaching out with help. Oh, that's okay. We can resolve it. Like, I'm here. Like, I don't mind if we do it your way. So that's the pleasing. That's the fawn response. So those two are so automatic. So until I heal my body and my nervous system, then it's okay to say no. It's okay to set the boundaries. The body will automatically start responding before I even think about it. So that's why we have to go layer deeper, heal the nervous system with the therapist, counselor, or through other modalities. And then the body doesn't have that response, and we don't have to kind of catch it too late because it already responded. It already started pleasing. It already went in a freeze, and I can't say a word. I feel like there's no words I can express. So it's very hard, especially for those two stress responses, to be faster and stop them. While so for me, healing the body was the key. And just give an example to your listeners what they can do when they feel like that. Some nervous system practical tools, so they can walk away with something really good. So I'm just thinking what would be good. Breathing is a good. So if you have exhale longer than inhale, it signals your body we're safe. It's safe. Our body also signals safety when we look around and scan the environment for danger. So you can literally observe with your eyes left to right, up to down, and search for danger and give yourself, like, literally information. There's no fire, there's no danger, there's no, I don't know, animal attacking me. And that signals again the body that I am safe. There is an overwhelming sensation that there is no danger in my environment to which I have to respond. So those are, some basic things. You can also start scanning the body for reactions and describing it in your mind. It's like, oh, okay, now I feel my stomach hurts. Okay, this is probably from the stress I'm experiencing. I will sit with the sensation of, scrunched up stomach from stress. And now my hands are tingling. That's interesting. And just observe and describe it with words. What are you experiencing? That helped me a lot in the early stages when I was new to this work.
That's such good advice. I myself went through something traumatic a few years back. I talked about it in one of my podcasts. I was in a mass shooting. And when I came home, I had a lot of PTSD, and breathing and the scanning really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And going through a bad marriage before that, I wish I had that information, because I didn't even realize I had been suffering from anxiety and panic attacks prior to this event even happening, just because of the relationship I had been in. And I wish I had known that, because breath work is incredible. And I just didn't know about The Body Keeps Score. Now I've read that book, and it's such an incredible book. And it's so true, because you think you're past something and your body just always remembers. And there are these tools that you're giving us, these tips for, that are things that we could do every day when we're feeling these types of anxieties, and scanning and being present and seeing that you're here in the now and you're not in that past trauma. Those are such good tips.
Yeah.
How do limiting beliefs and past traumas keep us stuck in cycles that no longer serve us? How can we begin to break free from these?
Yeah, so a little bit to what I already said, it's healing the body.
Mm-hmm.
In my practice, I'm using root cause therapy, and part of the root cause therapy script or healing procedure is also revealing the limiting beliefs by muscle testing, or, by revealing them what the body remembers. So we're asking again the body, like, in the techniques, like, I'm scared of a conflict, I fear something, right? So we can reveal it, because the body will reveal the truth for us, and it has the inner knowing. So we know how to access the truth through the muscle testing, and how to heal it is through going to the root cause of the origin. So again, it has a procedure to ask the unconscious mind to heal the original imprint, because it feels like the original imprint or the original feeling. Let's say a parent wouldn't buy us ice cream and we feel unworthy. It just keeps playing in their life. And when you get to the same situation of your wound would be exposed, the wound is wrapped in protective mechanisms. So if you start feeling in a relationship with your partner that vulnerability comes up and I'm not worthy, it has this protecting mechanism of, for some could be the people pleasing, like, oh no, like, I can't get to the situation where this wound would be revealed. Or
Right.
for other people is the creating the trauma bond, because even that is a trauma response. It's someone trying to keep you forcefully, is for them to protect the love in a way. Like, I'm not saying it to excuse this behavior, but I'm just saying it that we all have wounds and trauma, and it can be healed. And if the root cause is healed, then the protective mechanism goes away on its own without even trying. So that's how deep the root cause therapy goes, and that's how we get rid of the unwanted behavior, because it's no longer protecting that wound, and that's why it's so effective.
It makes so much sense, because you're going to the origin of the pain
Yeah.
instead of just managing symptoms.
100%, you said that right.
Yeah, because I feel doctors will just throw you a pill and you can manage anxiety. Sure, it can help you get through the day to day, but it's still in your body. And I just think it's incredible what you're doing. What shifts have you seen in your clients once they start addressing the root of their pain instead of just the symptoms?
Yeah, just as we just said, so the unwanted behavior just goes away. So there's no fear to bring up the conflict, because you're not protecting yourself from being rejected anymore. So you have access to healthy anger, to set the boundaries, to be more assertive, and not to fall into that trap of the same behavior and same results. So for everyone, it's different, but most importantly, without effort, you get rid of the symptom.
I like that you said that, a healthy anger, because the process has a whole different list of different feelings you're going to have, and giving yourself grace that it's okay to go through anger.
So triggering. For example, for me, the anger was a big obstacle and I could not access it in my body. And that's why I did not have boundaries, because I did not feel my body being angry. I did not feel someone violated my boundaries because I disconnected from my body when it was in that situation. And because the relationships are mirrors, when someone had the angry reaction, it triggered me as I was not allow myself to have the healthy anger. So if someone allowed themselves have or even unhealthy anger, when I spotted it in someone else, it triggered me as like judging them, because I was like, oh my goodness, why this person, just can't be calm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was upset that they have that reaction because I didn't integrate healthy anger in me, and it triggered me because I didn't let myself to feel anger, to have it as a reaction at all, because I always shut down. And I thought I was managing.
Yeah. And then you were given a safe space to allow your healthy anger to come out and to feel safe to,
Yeah.
maybe you needed somebody to help pull that out of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And well, I'm still learning. I'm not perfect yet, and I'm getting triggered, and I'm learning what healthy anger is as well, like where are the edges as well. So we're not perfect, we're just human.
Mm-hmm. I read a really good book. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was called Dance with Anger, or The Dance of Anger. And it's such a good book for women, because I think we're scared of that word anger, and we're kind of more with thought to be good, quiet girls and,
Yeah.
not express anger. So knowing that the root cause usually of anger is pain, and that's why we suppress it often.
And we don't have to act in anger, even if you feel it. Like, don't be
Mhm.
angry at yourself for feeling it. You can feel it all inside in your body because it charges you. Like, it's unbelievable. It's very powerful
Mhm.
compared to going in that shutdown shame, like, oh, I shouldn't, like, why am I like this? And like that self kind of damaging thoughts. You can go in that rage, but you can't express it at someone. But even if you feel that charge in yourself and just allow yourself to go through the emotion, you don't have to act on it. So just feel
Mhm.
it. And after you're stabilized again, that's when you send the message, or that's when you write the email, or do the steps like in the real life. But as feeling that sensation, just allow yourself to go the full circle. Don't push it down. That
Mhm.
was the key to me.
What role would you say self-compassion plays in the trauma healing process? How can women
Mm-hmm.
begin to give themselves grace, and to give themselves that self-compassion, that if they've never been taught how?
Yeah. If someone grew up in an environment where they were not kind caregivers, they have inside their head the critical and judgmental mind towards themselves, and it's very painful. So start learning the changing the voice which is speaking to us and in which we're using to treat ourselves is where the healing begins. And
Mhm.
with the kindness towards the inner world, and changing it from judgment and criticism to curiosity and love and kindness and acceptance, that's life changing. Yeah.
You kind of just answered this by saying about starting with the inner dialogue to ourselves, but for anyone who feels like they're at the bottom right now
Mm.
and they want to start their healing journey, what's one thing you'd want them to know?
Um, there's nothing wrong with you, and there's no one who is too broken or to be healed again. No one's too broken to be healed, and
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with you. Those are just the layers of deception, and they can be peeled off to reveal the beautiful essence of you. So don't be scared to do the healing.
Yeah, I like that. Don't be scared too, because I think we we're scared to take on this new journey, or like you said, and I think that's why a lot of women stay small and they stay stuck in a situation that doesn't serve them or is potentially even dangerous because they don't know where to start and they're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is scary here to go into darkness. But yeah, I haven't, when with someone I'm guiding to that darkness and found something which is different to anyone else. Like, we're all human, and what we find is our humanness. That's the only thing which is in the darkness. Like, there's nothing different to, we're all human, and that's what it's in the darkness, our humanness.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What would you tell your 20-year-old self looking back?
This is a hard question. There's so much has changed since 2002 or 2005. And the world changed so much as well, thinking, like, I didn't even have a smartphone back then. Little as the chat GPT. So I was scared of everything at that age, and most of all the outside world, and I didn't pay attention to the inside world as much. So I wish what I did more is to connect with the essence of me rather than looking on outside, and be less scared of being judged and being me. I wish I knew that.
Well, we're happy to know you now. And I'm sure you're a beautiful girl at 20, but our circumstances and our experiences shape who we are as well.
Yeah.
Where can people work with you, learn more about your offerings, and stay connected to any of your upcoming events or sessions? Feel free to plug your socials and website.
So I'm sure it will be at the bottom of the description, but the website is ivanacare.com. I'm also on Instagram. I'm trying to invite everyone for events because I love connecting with women in women's circles. So I'm holding workshops online and in person in Sydney, in Australia, but online as well for people who are outside. Running workshops on the topics we just mentioned: confidence, toxic relationship rehab. And I have free download on my website, 5 steps to bounce back after breakup. Not everyone's in a toxic relationship. So some people just, end a relationship and they want to transition from the us to me and find the power and go through the steps. So it's very helpful as well, because there are tools for each stage and how to navigate the world in those shifts which are happening post breakup. So that's something exciting I'm putting together as like a free offer in my service, because this whole project actually became as me helping my old me being in that situation and become just bigger than me, bigger than my fears, bigger than me being uncomfortable with public speaking, me being uncomfortable with sharing my story, because I just know that there are people who will benefit from reading it, connecting with it, and feeling seen and heard, and that they are not alone.
Absolutely. And you've helped them today for anybody who's listening. So we really appreciate you coming here and telling your story and all the good work that you're doing. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone who's listening. Please feel free to share this episode with anyone that you may feel would benefit.
Thank you.